everybody, and welcome to Bold Breakthroughs with Business Experts. I am Catherine N. Clayton, and I help professional entrepreneurs launch their own business, level up their own business, and start to make their own money and get their own time freedom. Now, the reason I started that is I was in corporate America, and I realized that I was spending a lot of time making other people wealthy. So if you're out there and you want to get wealthy and you want to stop making other people wealthy, you need to talk to me so that we can help you start creating the life of your dreams. But today is not about me. Today is about my expert, Jen Lendaris, and she is awesome. I'm so excited that she's here. And you know what, Jen, I'm just going to let you take over. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do to help people.
Yeah, no, awesome. Thank you for having me on. So I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach specializing in a functional medicine approach, which so many people don't know what that is. So
I was going to say, what is that?
Right, exactly. So we know what a health coach is. We've heard that term. The National Board of Medical Examiners, here's like the technological side of it. The people who get the board that gives doctors their license, they wanted to make the health coaching profession legit. So they created a nonprofit. They are affiliated with this nonprofit. So you have to go through this board certification, training, and all this just in our training to become a health coach that's nationally board certified. A functional medicine approach is a new way to look at medicine. When a lot of us commonly go to the doctor and we have an illness or we have symptoms that have been going on for a really long time. And sometimes we might even go to the doctor and they think that nothing's wrong with you. And we kind of feel like we're crazy. Well, it's because the healthcare system is really set up to treat acute illness, not chronic illness. Uh-huh. And so, for example, what functional medicine does is that it tries to get to the root cause and identify what really is going on and then treat it. So my story and how I got into business for myself and how I got into health coaching specifically is it took me 10 years to get a diagnosis of endometriosis because of this reason. Yeah, just trying to go to the doctors and them telling me it's a female problem. No, it's all in your head. You're fine. It's normal.
Yeah, you're not having cramps. You're not hurting. It's just, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the heavy bleeding, like all those things. Then later on I had infertility issues. And so finally, it took a surgery to diagnose me with severe endometriosis. That was almost putting me in a state. I was almost bedridden from it. It was that severe. Uh-huh. And because of that, I had infertility problems, which then it forced me to have to leave my corporate job because I was not able to work a 9-to-5 with the pain that I was in.
Right. Wow.
And yeah. And so my health journey is that I was able to, with alternative means like lifestyle modifications, be able to start healing myself. And so I thought, wait, this is pretty interesting that I was able to do something in a very short period of time that in 10 years, no doctor was able to do. So I just started working with people, similar issues. And I hit a ceiling that I could only help so many people, working one-on-one. So now I do have I keep my practice to a small private practice. And now I actually coach other coaches.
Oh, wow.
Start doing the same thing who have this national board certification. Uh-huh. And they've done all this work, spent all this time, spent all this training, but they don't have the business sense. They haven't been entrepreneurs in the past. Uh-huh. They don't know what to do. And so oftentimes they either don't even start their coaching practice or they're just stuck. They just let things go. So what I try and do is teach them the mindset behind starting a business, as well as just the step-by-step tools that people don't think about. So for example, one of the things is I start with mindset first, is you got to really know your strengths and you got to really know your personality.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Because you want to be able to, if you're doing, your own business, this applies to anybody in business. If you're going to go out and do your own thing, you want to stay true to yourself. If you want to keep that integrity marker there.
And I think that's funny that you say about being true to yourself. I personally believe, I know this was my journey. When you first starting, you get imposter syndrome. You start watching all these coaches and you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say what they say, or I'm going to be dramatic, how they're going to be dramatic. And then it just really doesn't work for you.
It's so true.
So I think being authentic and who you really are, and in the journey, in the mindset thing, a lot of people don't really know who they are, and they don't embrace it.
Right.
So in your coaching, even though it's health coaching, do you talk about that mindset of embracing your true authentic self?
Oh, that is when I work with coaches, that is the number one thing before we start talking about your niche or any of that, we got to talk about where we got to get your mind straight.
Absolutely.
Who you are, what your passions are. If you have obstacles, are you aware of them? Like what are your roadblocks? And let's work on those first. Mm-hmm. And so the imposter syndrome is big because a lot of, especially new coaches, they're afraid like, well, what's my worth? If I look at other health coaches that aren't really the kind of health coach we are, they don't really get paid a lot. So how do I know what to charge? So we really get that down first.
And I think in business, that is really so important. In fact, for me, and I'm sure that you have as well, I have a coach. I actually have two coaches.
I just
hired a new mindset coach, and just because I knew that I knew that I'm good in my mindset, but I knew that there's room for growth. And I also knew that there's a lot of spider webs in there that I don't maybe even are aware, but that are not allowing me to go to my potential. And so I think it's important when you're coaching that you do have that mindset piece. Because mindset with you is, as far as the health goes, I don't know if you really focus on weight loss or you just focus on the whole health. Mindset's a lot of it.
Oh, absolutely. And you touched on something, especially me. I typically, most of my personal one-on-one clients tend to be female. And I would say 95, if not higher percent of them come to me saying, I want to lose weight. Right. But the weight usually is never the issue.
Right.
It's never. So I help them give themselves a break and say, you know what? You don't need to worry about the weight. Let's work on this other stuff, which empowers them to have the confidence that they need to actually start moving forward. Because another part of this, I really have three things when I'm working with people building their business. It's the mindset, their financial assessment to know how quick is a reality for them of how quick that they could build a business, especially now, right now with COVID going on, a lot of people being unemployed. The thing is that some people, they need income, so they can't really dedicate themselves full time. They might need to do it part time. So we go through that assessment. But the other thing is self-care, because if you're sick and you're so stressed out and that's making you sick, then you're not good to anybody. You're not good to yourself. Right. You're not good to the people that you want to serve. And that usually ties into that weight question that often comes up.
And I'll tell you that's what I'm noticing about, my 5-year journey in this entrepreneur space. I've always been an entrepreneur from back when I sold Barbie dolls and made money, in 4th grade, because I wanted some money to buy skates or something. And, but I think that when you start getting your health right and you start working on some of, and I'm not a gut coach, so I'm not going to say that, but getting down to the core at the cellular level, things start changing automatically. And then the weight is a byproduct of you getting your mind healthier.
100%.
I had fertility issues as well. God blessed me with a beautiful daughter and a son, but we went through a long journey, really long journey, very expensive journey to get her here and then to try to get my son here. Then God said, I'm going to play a little joke on you. You thought you were done. Here's your baby. But there's so many issues with females, like the endometriosis. I have several friends that have it. Mm-hmm. There's so many issues do you really feel that with health and changing your eating habits and whatever you coach, that you can fix some of those issues?
Well, here's the thing. It's not necessarily fixing. Sometimes it is. So when you talk about lifestyle diseases, it's usually a disease that happens years, sometimes decades of lifestyle choices that lead to it. So you usually don't have symptoms of an illness after years of poor choices. So sometimes that leads to permanent damage. Sometimes it doesn't. So depending on your specific situation, we can either prevent the disease from getting worse, we can manage the symptoms, and a lot of times we can, yes, reverse it, but it would be very specific to the individual and their makeup of all what's going on. So for me, for example, endometriosis is not the only chronic illness that I've been diagnosed with. I actually have several. Some of them have been reversible, some of them have been managed, and some, are permanent. But I literally at one point was actually bedridden, and now I'm not. So for me, that's a success. And so, so we look at the whole self. It's not just slap a Band-Aid on a symptom and call it a day. It's really, from the functional medicine approach, it's really looking at and identifying what is the root cause so that we can prevent, manage, and hopefully reverse. And oftentimes, most lifestyle diseases are reversible. Type 2 diabetes, like when we think of metabolic syndrome, or even when someone has like cardiac issues, a lot of it, when you look at those other markers like hypertension and cholesterol, yes, it's not just food. People think it's food and nutrition. Those are two component, but we look at sleep hygiene. We look at stress levels, stress management, life satisfaction, your relationships, socially, financially, family, all those types of things. And then the cool thing is that you're the expert in yourself. So you get to navigate how it goes. I'm just your ally that, on the journey. And I just help ask the right questions that get you thinking so that you can take control. Because the goal is that I don't want you to need me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we want our people to grow past us. I mean, I want my, people to get better than me, because then that just means I did my job because I encouraged them. So let me ask you this. How can people get in touch with you? This is very interesting. How can they learn more about you? Do you have a Facebook page or whatever? Because what I do for my audience is I have my guests put their links in the comments when it loads up to Facebook. And I would love, I think that you've got great information. I think there's a lot of our people out there that can use and talk to you. So would you mind putting your Facebook link in there, or LinkedIn, or whatever you have, where people
absolutely.
can get in touch with you?
Yep, I have a Facebook page, and then I also, I have a website, which is coachingforlifestylechange.com. I'll soon be launching an e-learning platform for that everyone can access very accessible health coaching, either workshops or self-paced courses, so that if you get in touch with me, you'll get on the list for that, and you'll get notifications for
well,
that too.
and you can just drop your
perfect
website. I didn't know if so. Also, I have this week we're working on building clients. So I've got the client building profile secrets, and again, take advantage of these. Use these resources to your advantage. Feel free to go over to Jen's website, look at what she has to offer. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff, and take what you want so that you can grow your business. So I want to thank you, Jen, for being here, and welcome. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Bold Breakthroughs with Business Experts. Have a great day.